Alright everybody, this is going to be an unusual video compared to the battle operation videos we put out in the past, especially our Mobile Suit Guide videos. This one is going to be focused mostly around the maps in the game. So this is going to be the start of the series of our map guides for Gundam Battle Operation 2. So the map we're currently on is the new variation of Port Base Day. So it's still got the same objective layout as the similar as old Port Base, but there is a key difference. In about 3 minutes, the HLVs on the B side, so that far one right there, and the close one right here will take off. After which, the pads that they're currently sitting on will open up for suits to sit on and to traverse, opening up vantage points across the map. At about 22 minutes about 22 minutes remaining, the third HLV over on D side will also take off, opening up an extreme vantage point, making Objective D very, very critical to holding Objective C, due to the fact that you gain an extra vantage point from the superstructure over at D onto the actual structure of C and the surrounding area, something that was not available before. As you can see, line of sight from that building is cut off. Without the HLV, line of sight from that building would be existent. A sniper unit can easily attack either side of C. Spawning suits that would spawn on either side here will be vulnerable to enemy support fire or general type fire from that building. So, going forward here, both sides start out with their suits spawning between their home objectives. So on B side, you'll spawn between Objective B and your home base. On Objective A side, you'll spawn between Objective A and your home base. Objective B has more high ground to utilize when the HLVs take off. Objective B also has more cover from Objective C. An early hold on Objective C from B side is a very key strategical advantage due to the fact that a retake is possible, because when you spawn on B, you'll spawn with B and the Zaku 1 are standing. Granted, you are exposed to immediate enemy fire from C, but the thing is, you will be able to retreat around the building here, have a safe way to jump up onto the building and provide support fire onto C. You can also have loop around and have a lot more cover than A side to flank around onto the sides of C. Both sides have a similarly exposed approach to D, but Objective A has a safer approach due to a bunch of piping covering most of the mobile suit's waist and leg areas, leaving only the shoulders and head and shields exposed to direct fire. The trenches on both sides of the map are completely symmetrical. Therefore, they split at D. There's no difference between the trenches on either side, and it's probably the most balanced portion of the map outside of Objective C. But thing is, play around these trenches leaves you vulnerable to high ground attacks from Objective C, which leads us to the main point and the main focus of this map. Within the first minute, the first push that both teams should do onto the map, unless you coordinate an excessive and swift strike onto the enemy team from a flank, is to have all generals and the raid rush Objective C. With a unified push, not trickling in one by one, you should try and grab C and hold it as effectively as possible. For Objective A side, due to the fact that you don't have as much cover as Objective B at approaching or defending from a enemy C take, you need to take C immediately and as quickly as possible. B team can survive off of not holding Objective C, but if they can't get C, Team B needs to grab Objective D, due to the fact that they won't have they have a more risky approach to actually attacking Objective D than Team A does. As you can see, the HLVs on both A side and B side have taken off. This allows for increased vision from supports on both sides into Objective C. It also allows general types to have a better awareness of the enemy suits outside of the radar. So essentially what this means is pushing Objective C from both sides becomes a lot more even. Even if Team B has a hold on Objective C, and A push from Team A's generals onto the HOV platform has increased vision, and the enemy defenders, even though they have the same vision, no longer have the element of surprise and cover due to the attackers being able to know their positions and whereabouts much more clearly. You're also able to jump up onto these platforms, make a quick distance cover across rather than walking all the way around. But be careful, because if you're caught out, if you jump too high and you get shot by a stagger weapon, you will fall down and land on your back. A heavy stagger and knockdown will be a very big detrimental health hit for you, and it really cost your team some time. If you're holding C and you're part of Team A, aka you spawn on A side of the map at the very beginning of the match, you really need to stick to the C as much as possible and not try and fight in the trench. Yes, it is hard and enticing to not, it's hard to stay out of the trench, and it's enticing to fight anybody crossing from objective B into the trench, but here's the problem. Unlike your side, which has no real high ground into the trench, objective B's high ground does cover extensively into the trench. They have multiple buildings that are tall enough to shoot down into the trench, letting their supports rain hell upon your general types. General types, raids and supports from A team, trying to attack objective B after successfully taking C, should try and cross at high grounds at all times. I recommend, if you're Team A and you've taken C, have most of your generals stay here at C with your support. Have a raid and a general, and an organized team take Delta. If your team takes objective D, you guys can now push from two sides onto objective B, pincering the enemy from all sides, negating any sort of usefulness out of the trench, since your team will now have a side shot onto the trench, as long as your teammates on objective C can hold their ground and sustain fire onto enemy supports and general types. Now if you're on Team B, here's the thing. If you get objective C in the first couple minutes in the match and you hold it down, you don't need to worry about objective D. Now why I say this is, if you are on objective C, the problem with objective A spawn is that everything here is completely open to fire. They have no buildings to really hide behind, and those that they do are really short. You'll be able to shoot the tops of enemy mobile suits peeking behind those buildings. So all you need to really do if you're Team B and you hold objective C is hold C. Hold almost a 180-degree perimeter around C. You basically want to have most of your generals looking at A, with your support also looking at A, but more along the lines of your supports keeping an eye out on a flank around D. Enemies' raids might try and flank around Delta or around to the side of the map on the border. Your support must call that out to your general types so they can easily rotate and take out the enemy. Raids on B team can easily push through the under tunnel or around the outside of the map here on the right side and get behind and kill an enemy support on A, or spawning in from their base. So it's very big for Team B to punish Team A if Team A cannot capture objective C in the beginning fight, due to the fact Team A spawns exactly where I knocked down these mobile suits. When you spawn here, most mobile suits, especially at 400 cost, can barely fit behind this warehouse right here. My head and shoulder is still exposed to damage. The left side is a lot of open ground with no cover. Granted, the pipes are right there, but a good enemy team will just send two generals to neutralize whatever general is trying to cross over that narrow choke point. Hanging into the trench is a huge issue due to the fact you don't have a lot of high ground to contest the trench. You only have this large open area that is easy to attack from C to contest anything in the trench. Yes, you had your standard warehouse building, which is identical on both sides of the map, but your problem here is you are still leaving yourself exposed in an enemy raid heading from Delta side or objective D, or an enemy support on C will just nail you constantly. There is no hiding from an enemy unit on Charlie. So you're asking, what if I'm Team B and Team A does capture Delta? What should I do? what you should do is you should focus more of your units instead of looking over at A. You should move most of your units near the superstructure where the third HLV would be, the one between C and D. Why do I say this? Because here's the thing. Objective D spawn for A team will be protected from anybody standing over near the A side HLV over at Charlie. So, you move your team to the D side HLV, you can see enemy spawns and you can see enemy moves between the two objectives. It is the most cover for Team A to actually move across the map. Getting rid of this one advantage that Team A has is going to be the crushing blow to the enemy team. If you can control this little gap right here of open area, and if you are able to kill 3 enemy suits, rushing down A and capping A leaves the Team A in the detrimental position of only having Objective D. Objective D is a very unsafe spawn due to its rated claustrophobic area. It'd be better for them to spawn at base and just try and play out a defensive game and try and kill you guys with long-range fire. But if you have the lead at that point, what you can do is if you have at least a 500-point lead, have all your units fall back to Objective B, you have the better defensive position there, and wait out the last couple minutes and or minute of the match, forcing the enemy team to burn time to chase you down, and granted, fire as you fall back, don't charge forward whatsoever in that situation. So yes, that is a port-based day. As you can see, unlike normal port-based, there's a lot more vision, and I will show you real quickly the vision advantage from this superstructure over at D before we cut the video. What you can use in this video that you can use on normal port-based is all the objective talk that we used before. The only thing that is different is the HLV sightlines will not exist. HLVs will block a lot of your sight, so be wary of that. So, on that note, if there's anything I missed, please let me know down in the comment section below. Anything you want to, any maps you want to see in the future? Well, we're gonna cover all maps. So, if you want, if I haven't put out a video of a map that you haven't seen yet, let me know. I'll put out a video for it, or at least prioritize that for the next video. But yes, I hope you guys like the video down below. Subscribe because there's gonna be more map and mobile suit videos coming out in the future. But yeah, this has been Grandy Warrior, aka Deranged Pyro, signing off.